So let's go to the morning. Now what happens in the morning? Before anything occurs, we need to set up the morning. Now you guys can help each other physically in real life by basically putting the cards down. Now I need to do it on my own here using my mouse. So there we go. I've got all of the personnel. I've got all of the diplomats and all of the traders. Now I'm gonna flip them. I'm gonna flip these. I'm gonna flip these. And I'm gonna flip these. Awesome. So we can now begin. So we are the yellow player right now, and we're gonna be taking a look around for what we want. We want another lizard and we want another Galaxia. Now I'm going to essentially scan the field for specifically the information I want. So let's start with Galaxia, for example, right? So this is Javelin, Mercur, Angelion, Imperium, Galaxia. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of tap that. But I'm going to do that in my head. I don't do it in real life, right? I'm just showing you here so you understand how to reason. So again, no, 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 no. This is the only Galaxia beast. Okay, so now let's take a look at lizards specifically. So no, 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 yes. Okay, this one not only is it Galaxia, it's also a lizard. Okay, then no, no, there's another lizard, no, no, no. So despite there being lots of information, you can filter it out this way. Okay, now because this one satisfies both of my guides, I'm gonna pick this. I'm not saying this is the best option for you because you may want something else, right? But let's start simple. And I'm going to probably take this. Okay, now let's put them back in position as they need to be. And how do I pick them up? So I need to take a worker from my home base. Okay, and I need to place the worker in one of these areas. For example, if I put the worker here, I get a beast. If I put the worker here, I get a diplomat. Personnel, trader. Now there are some spots called high priority spots. If I go there first, I get a king's favor as well as a card. So that's what I'm going to do. It's always good to go to the high priority spots whenever possible. So let's go here, take a king's favor and put it close to our ore. And now I'm going to draft this lizard. So what's the situation now? When I'm going to be updating my exhibition in the afternoon, I will already have 2 lizards and 2 Galaxia beasts. This means I can now start expanding. See if I can find more diplomats. Perhaps that will be my next turn as the yellow player. Now, let's go to the next player in the queue, which is orange. So, the orange player wants a giant, Mercur, and that will be ideal. I also remember the quest, which is influence. Now, unfortunately, none of these are patrons. So, perhaps our primary goal should be focusing on solving these 2 people. And we're going to do the same logic because there's one more high priority spot which we can take advantage of. Let's see. So if we go for Mercur, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have a lot of Mercur options. Now the only giant among these is this one. So this one is quite attractive for us. But let's look around at the diplomats real quick. Is there anything we can chain to? We kind of can. We could take this horse, which is from Mercur, because this horse connects us to Juvin. Juvin wants a nocturnal black, which is this horse. So let's quickly take a look. Do we see a fiend from Imperium anywhere on the field? Okay, so Javelin, Angel, Imperium. Oh, and it's a fiend. We have found a potential way to work on this. Now, we could go down this route, or we could simply take our giant and call it a day and feel safe. So we are going to make this decision. We're going to take our giant, be safe, and then worry about the rest later. Okay? Now to do that, sorry, I'm playing a bit wrong here. I need to leave the giant there. I need to take my worker, put the worker over there, take the second king's favor that's available there, and take this giant. And now the orange knight is done. Okay, so now let's go to purple. Now purple wants Imperium, stone, and carnivorous stuff. Okay, so let's see what we got. Let's look for Imperium first. There's 1, 2, and 3. These are the 3 Imperiums. Now this Imperium, we've already analyzed it from the other player's perspective, but each knight will be doing this at the same time, works for this chap. And there is that. On top of it, there also is a lovely black dyer, which means we could have any nocturnal beast and then tint it and take that. Now let's take a look if there are any more of these around. And there are. This is the only Imperium beast. Okay. Now, is it safe for me to take this beast? Yes, but I will not get a king's favor. Well, am I too afraid to take this guy first? Could I be hate drafted if I take this guy first because I get the king's favor? Maybe, but there doesn't seem to be any great trader here for this beast. There's this one, which is a 4, because the only thing that matches is nature. This one, same logic. This one, there's a match, there's a match, there's a match, there's a match. So this one is not really at risk from that perspective. So perhaps the purple knight will decide to go right here and take Juvin and a king's favor. Now you can see how Oswaldo and Juvin agree, at least partially, because they both like beasts for Imperium. And then there's stone, which has nothing to do with anything outside of the fact that we already have the Vicious Marion here. Okay, so we're done. Let's now move on to the yellow player. Okay, so the yellow player has already sorted all of this out. Now there is a diplomat that is in line with our work. Jericho wants 2 blue beasts. Now we already have 1 blue beast in our hand. Okay, so we could take him. Now there is no other blue beast on the field right now, but there are 2 more days. This is a fairly reasonable risk. So we're going to take it. We're going to go over here and we're going to take the blue chap, Jericho. Let's now move on to the orange player. Now the orange player has solved all of their problems down here, which is very nice. So we're going to be taking a look at any potential diplomats that we can work with. So this chap, 2 reds, there's only 1 red beast. It doesn't really work for any of what we're doing. Perhaps, though, we can take a look at our trader. So our trader wants a fiend and a diurnal beast. Now let's take a look here. We've got, I'm going to use the same sort of method to show you. We've got 1 fiend, 2 fiends, 3 fiends. And that's it. Now, this one is nocturnal, so let's untap it. This is diurnal. Okay, these remain tapped. Now, this is very interesting because we could go after this one or after this one. However, this one is inherently more attractive to go to. Why? Because we take something that the purple player would want and we get in their way a little bit while it doesn't hurt us at all. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to forego getting king's favors over here and over here because this is quite important at this time. So let's go. We're going to go over here and we're going to take this fiend. The purpose of this fiend is so we can trade it to this trader. And at this moment, it's quite likely that the purple player is grimacing, a bit upset at what just occurred. But it is life, that's how the game works. So, now, the purple player has this situation over here. We got Imperium, Juvin, etc. Now, there is another chap down here that is also a risk, but he does like Imperium. Now, the beautiful thing of this is that it's Imperium Water, and there is an Imperium Water right there. So, let's make that decision. We are going to go to the diplomats, and we're going to take... no, pardon me. We've learned our lesson. We're going to go to the beast, and we're going to take this green bird, which matches this. In fact, solves Oswaldo completely and opens up to taking Calestra. Let's move on. Now, the yellow player now has an extra green, blue, etc. Let's take a look at our traders. So we got stone and carnivorous, which would be this or this. So we have 2 options, and that's not too bad. We could also take a look at what's here, right? Because there's a bunch of traders. Now, this one matches okay with this. So we could go there, but let's take a look here as well. So over here, what we've got is we've got an appraiser, which improves our sales. We have a carer, which can help us have a big discount at the end of the game in particular, or we have a guardian, which is a lot of points and a tiny bit of income every evening. And this one is attractive to me because it's a lot of points. So let's go ahead and take it. Okay, I'm going to take another King's Favor. Okay, so we are the first player to get 3 King's Favors. What that means is we're going to throw them away and convert them into a medal. There we go. And now we can take any one of these. We're going to take the Guardian. Fantastic. Now, let's move on to the orange player again. 2 more workers. So the orange player has a sale and has this all solved. Now, we could go here and improve that sale. And why not? That seems like a sensible thing to do. Let's go over here, take another King's Favor, and then we are going to collect the appraiser. Awesome. Now, purple. Now, the purple player wants Calestra, but nobody took him so far. And then we also want the dyer. Now, the probability of anybody wanting the dyer is very low because nobody's taken anything. So, and there's also this horse as an alternative. That would be for a Juven. So what we're going to do now is we're not even going to move a worker at all. We are going to play one of our personnel. So let's take a look. The seer can be used at any time of day. We're in the morning right now, so 2. Okay. And what will she do? She gives us 3 beasts from the bottom of a deck. We trash 2 and keep 1. Okay. So let's throw her away. Now I'm going to pick this deck and I'm going to drop 3 cards from the bottom and draw all 3 to my hand. Okay, I've got another Nocturnal Black. Let's look around. Okay, this and this, I don't think I care about either of them. Because this is a Lizard in Grey, it's not a Fiend in Grey, so it doesn't help me towards Calestra. Okay, but this one definitely works. It works for Juven. But on top of it, I have spotted this trader. Now this trader, I'm just going to show it here just to clarify how this works. Nature, yes. Omnivore, yes. Teutonica, yes. That is a perfect trader. Not only is it a perfect trader, it's a perfect elite trader. Okay, so we're definitely keeping this beast. And publicly, we need to throw away this one and this one. And this one is a lizard from Galixia, which makes our yellow player quite unhappy. But it's in the bin now, unfortunately. Now the yellow player can also technically use one of their green cards, the Tycoon. It's the morning. The Tycoon will give us 2 traders. That could inform us as to what we should take down here potentially, right? So let's do that. Let's use the Tycoon and draw 2 of these. Okay, so what have we got? We've got an Imperium insect, just like this one. And here we've got a giant from Merkur, which is not brilliant for us, but who knows, the future is long. Okay, so we're done. Let's now move on to orange. Now the orange player is also going to play a personnel right now. It's a pretty good time to do so because of this matron. However, because the matron is going to tell us what we need to get, because we're going to get 3 diplomats and keep 1. But there are these King's Favors up here that are so neglected. So sad. Well, let's go and take 1 King's Favor, because that gets us to a medal. That's nice. Because that will be the 3rd King's Favor, right? And what we're going to take is we're going to take this one, because this one allows us to take this lizard. Let's hope we don't lose it. So here we go. Okay, now, purple. The purple player still has a King's Favor right there, and they want a trader for this. Right, so that makes loads of sense. Let's go over there, take a King's Favor, that's our 2nd, and we're gonna take this trader. Beautiful. I just noticed that I was a bit of a potato before potentially, because when I drew this one, I already had the perfect trader for it. Let me show you. See, bird, water, and Angelion. But I tunnel visioned on this. Oh well, it's okay. This one is an elite trader, it's more worth it, and I got a King's Favor out of it, so I can't complain, really. Okie dokie. Now, let's go to yellow. Now, the yellow player has noticed that the orange player has taken the trader that works for this. So, the yellow player is going to undercut them, because the yellow player likes lizards no matter what. So that sounds like a pretty good idea. Nom. There we go. Stolen that lizard. And now the orange player is shaking their fist. Okay, so time to use the matron. There are no king's favors anywhere. It's a good time to use the matron. Boom, matron goes down. We're gonna draw 3. Let's see what we got. We got Jevito, who wants 1 diurnal blue and 1 water red. We've got Malka, who wants a giant from Merkur and an orange diurnal. Now we have 2 giants from Merkur. This is great for us. And Zarkant, who wants a carnivorous red and an omnivorous white. It really doesn't work for us very much, at least not right now. So we're gonna throw her away, we're gonna throw him away, and we're gonna keep Malka. Beautiful. All right. Now next, let's go to the purple player. Now the purple player, what is the purple player going to do? We've solved all of this. We still have 1 worker, and we still need to solve Juvin, because the plan is, yes, we have a nocturnal black, but we're gonna sell it, right? So let's... and we still need to get Calestro. Now people have been picking traders and stuff. I don't think there's any risk for Calestro to go away. So let's just go and take ourselves the black Dire instead of taking an extra beast. Boom. We've got the black Dire. Okay. Now, yellow. Yellow has no more workers. Okay, so what happens now? Is it over? No. There's a bunch of options. We can A, pass. If you pass, what happens? You get a coin, like so, and you add it to your supply. Okay? Is passing permanent? No. You can pass as many times as other people keep doing actions. However, if you pass, and then the orange player passes, the purple player has the power to decide whether the morning ends right now or whether it continues. If they pass, they don't collect a coin, and the morning ends immediately, even if you, as the yellow player, had hoped to do more action. So it's relatively risky, even though you can milk people for money this way. Okay? What alternatives do you have? You can play a green card, a personnel, like we've already done before. Okay, so that worked. Or that works, you could do that, assuming it's legal. For example, my Guardian is a modification, and they're all specific to the afternoon, as you can see in the bottom right area of the card. Right? So that doesn't work right now. But if personnel were legal to play right now, we could do that. Okay? Now, the third option is relocating a worker. How does that work? Okay, let's take a look. So we have a bunch of workers here deployed, and they are standing up, right? You can see that. That means they can move 1 more time. How does that work? For example, I can do something, and I'll explain what in a moment, to move this chap from here to here, okay? Or even to a high priority area, a high priority spot if it were available. Now, when they move, they will fall down. This will mean they're now permanently tired and cannot be moved again. Okay? If they become permanently tired in a high priority spot, they clog that high priority spot permanently. That's just how it works. Okay? Now, how can I do this? I can do this in 2 ways. I can either discard 2 cards from my hand and move for free, or pay 5 from my personal supply to move. Okay? Now, in this case, we've got this trader that we can fulfill. Okay? And we've also... Oh no, Calestro is for the other player. Dang it, I get confused because I'm playing for 3 people. But we got this trader that works for this insect, right? So that's not a bad move. However, the only people that can go to the beast area are this worker and this worker, which means we will leave a spot open. Now, that's acceptable, really. I mean, it matches our intent anyway, so we can go and do that. Alternatively, we can try and do something else first, right? To see if we can move this guy and not free a spot. That makes perfect sense. Now, we've got this trader for the horse, if we wanted to. And we've got this trader for the insect. This trader is extra, which means we have a spare card. We could conceivably try and take something different to see if we can then drop 2 cards. That's a bit more advanced. We're not going to worry about that for now. I'm just letting you know that's a possibility. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply not worry too much about anything. I'm going to spend 5 coins. And I'm going to move from here to here fall down and collect this insect, which I am planning to sell to this trader. Okay, so yellow player, finished. Orange player. Let's see what the orange player has. Now the orange player had taken this to sell, but that doesn't work because, well, that lizard is gone now. So what we could do is we could conceivably want to drop this, but we need a second card to drop it. Now all of the other cards we want to keep. There is a lovely spot right there. How about we spend a 5 to relocate from here to here, okay? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna do something we haven't done yet ever, which is we are going to random pick. Because not only when you come here can you draft something from what's available, you can also take a random card from the top. Now, of course, that's a risk. It could backfire severely at certain times, but we're prepared because we still have workers that are standing so we can move, and we have a card we don't want to keep anymore. If we take a second card which we potentially don't want to keep, we can drop that card plus the one that we have. So let's see. I'm going to take this card. Okay, well, this card, gosh darn it, works. That's a good thing, I guess. But so Peridia wants us to have a carnivorous purple, and there is one down here. And she also wants us to have a rock orange. And I'll be danged, there's my rock orange. That's pretty cool. So it turns out this is not going to be a card we're going to drop. It's a card we're going to try to work with. Not bad. Okay, so let's go to the purple. Purple. What have we got? Okay, so we got the perfect trade over there. Everything's done. Now, we could try and sell this bird, but I don't think it makes any sense because one of the birds is already gone, so that will work. Where can we go? Do we go anywhere at all? We still want cholesterol. What we're going to do is we're going to pass and hope that somebody else moves, particularly that they move from here, although technically that's the only place we ourselves clog. But we're going to pass. We're taking one slow turn. I'm going to quickly convert these 1 coins into another 5. There we go. Beautiful. Now, let's switch colors and go to yellow. Now, yellow has this horse that they can go and take. And they can only do so by freeing this spot. And we're going to do that. Let's do that. We'll spend another 5 and go here. And you may say, but Mike, why are you spending a 5 to then make a trade that will also net you 5, right? Because you can see there's 2 at the top and 3 at the bottom because it's carnivorous, but it's not yellow. Yes, not only do I get that, I also get the 3 points at the end of the game, which you can see at the bottom right, if I complete a trade. So that still makes sense, even though there is no obvious profit at the moment. Okay, so now we're back to the orange player. Now, the orange player now wants this beast because this beast matches Peridia. However, there's also another thing. There's a beautiful purple dia, which we could use technically on our giant that we already have, making our playthrough extremely synergetic. So that makes a lot of sense. We are going to go there, especially because there's another fortuitous king's favor right there. Now, the only 2 people that can move are this and this. So what we're going to do is we're going to spend a 5, and because nobody's been taking any traders and all of these traders look a little bit suboptimal for what's available, we're going to leave this spot. We're going to go right here, take a king's favor, and take the purple dire. Boom. Okay. Now, purple player. So the purple player still needs that cholesterol. Or wants that cholesterol. Now, we can happily move over here for a couple of reasons. If we get a second trader, even at random, and the second trader doesn't work, we could discard this trader and the other trader to pick something up. So let's do that. We're going to spend a 5, and we are going to move from here to here, take a king's favor, our 3rd king's favor, so we now get a medal, and random pick a trader. Boom. Wind, there's nothing wind. Perfect. So this trader can now be thrown away with this other one for us to move. Let's see what the yellow player will do next. So the yellow player now still has this trader that's useless. Okay, and they have a possibility of potentially random picking a diplomat. That's a bit risky because we have a fair few beasts here and they're all very similar to each other, already synergizing with these diplomats. So we probably don't want more risk. However, what risk we could take is go for Mutt. He wants 2 reds, but that gives us 2 contradictory situations. So that is potentially not recommended, but you know what? Let's take the risk. We'll see where this playthrough goes. So we're going to spend yet another 5. And go from here to here. Take a King's Favor. And take Mutt. Okay. The purple player was hoping to be able to go there, but everybody's getting in the way. So it's not going to happen, is it? Okay, the orange player now is in a very, very good situation. Everything is nice and ready, and we're good to carry on. It kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do a lot more, maybe. So let's simply pass for now. Okay, now the purple player is not going to pass. The purple player is afraid because if they pass and they pass, then it's over, right? So let's spend a 5. We still need to or want to take Calestro. So let's go after Calestro. Actually, instead of spending a 5, let's simply throw down this trader and this trader. Now it can be any combination of card types to do this, okay? But we're gonna do this one in particular. So let's go up here, fall down, and collect Calestra. Brilliant. Okie dokie. Now, yellow player. Yellow player still has this trader. Doesn't really work for much. One thing that it might make sense to do is to relocate the final worker. Why? Because when all of your workers are tired, you would be receiving a bonus from the king at the end of the morning. You will be receiving as many king's favors as the day number. So in this case, 1. Okay, we are going to spend our final 5 because we're making 2 trades. We feel fairly comfortable monetarily. So let's spend a final 5 to relocate our final guy from here to here. We're going to take the carer. The carer gives us discounts during the evening. So if we're struggling to pay, the carer can help. Let's sort that. Let's grab that. Okay, and now orange. Let's see. So there's a free spot over here for orange, and we could move over there, and that would give us a new medal. Now, we have such synergy that our cost of maintenance is going to be very, very low, and we're making a trade. So I think this is a good move. So let's spend ourselves a 5 and go down here. Take another King's Favor, which graduates to a medal, and now we could either go Merkur, which kind of makes sense. This one's also Merkur technically, but very, very expensive. I don't know that I want that. Or we could do a random pick. The random pick is kind of cool because it would allow us to throw this away, possibly. So let's do a random pick from here. Okay, it's another Merkur Fiend. We might actually end up keeping this one because it's fire, and fire is a very, very rare element. Let's do that. Okay, sounds good. Now, purple. Now, the purple player has that beautiful thing available. See how stuff moves around? You always need to pay attention. Now, yes, let's go over there and see if we find something nice in the random pile. So, we are gonna go, let's say, from here to here. And take... Okay, this is red. Not a great card for us, but we're probably gonna keep it at this point. We'll see. And now it's the yellow player's turn. So the yellow player is finished. All of their people are down, and none of their personnel can be used right now, so they're simply going to pass. 1 coin. Okay, back to the orange player. Now the orange player has everything sorted. There's no King's Favors available. And perhaps the purple player will leaving that spot, which might be okay. Let's pass as well. Okay, now the purple player can pass and end it all immediately. If they do so, they will not get the King's Favor from having everybody down. And That's what we are going to do. We are going to pass. Cool. So that ends the morning. We don't get the coin because we're the last ones. So what happens now? Well, before we can move this to noon, we need to check who has everybody down. And the yellow player is the only player with every worker down. So they will receive 1 king's favor per day. There we go. Beautiful. So now we go to noon and we trash everything that's still here. This is now permanently gone. And there we go. And we return all of the workers back home. So 2 purplies, another purple, another purple. There we go. This is a heck of a lot easier to do in real life, I can tell you that. Less fiddly. Now we're gonna take these bad boys over here, and these 2 over here, and then finally these 4. Let's group them like that and chuck them there. Not particularly tidy, but c'est la vie. Wanna play with us right now? Join the community using the links below.
Hand in hand we journey far, peace and the goal to see.